Good afternoon. This is LauraJthe.Treetalker, and it is Wednesday, February the 12th at 2:33. Anyway, sorry to be so precise. Today we're talking to Quaking aspen. And it must have been calling to me before I started to ask what would be the subject of today's reading and what tree would give it, because as I began my reflections, I heard the wind blowing outside because a storm is on the way, or was at the time I did the reading, and the fire crackling in the wood stove, and suddenly the words came, "Spirits of the wind." I started to second guess it, but then corrected myself thinking, sure, why not? And this is the thing about doing readings of any kind. You don't second guess. You go by the first thing you hear. So after hearing what the subject was, the next thing I heard was Quaking aspen, which makes sense. I should say right now that what it said was pretty surprising, so stick around for it. Before I get going with the reading, I thought you might like to know some interesting facts about this tree, and I will also take this opportunity to ask you to like the little thumbs up emoji below the video and subscribe because it will help my channel grow. And if you want to be notified when I've posted a new video, click on the little bell emoji. And of course, if you know someone who loves nature and trees, share it with them. Okay, I appreciate it. Quaking aspen is known for the sound of its rustling leaves, which happens because the leaf stems are flat instead of rounded and attach at a 90-degree angle to the main stem, so they kind of twirl around and hit each other. The tree is also known for spectacular color displays of yellow and gold in the fall, and for how quickly it repopulates the forest after a fire. It grows up to around 60 feet in height. Another fact that is not quite so well known is that most aspen groves have a single connected root system. The trees are clones of each other. They're genetically identical. There's a massive quaking aspen clone in the state of Utah called Pando, which is Latin for eye spread. It's considered the world's largest tree, covering an acreage of 106 acres, and it weighs an estimated 13.2 million pounds, which makes it the heaviest known living biomass, which is another word for total weight. However, there is an enormous honey fungus colony in eastern Oregon, which may rival the Pando for biomass. That fungus destroys plant life around it. So when I read that, I thought, ooh, I remember a great episode of The X-Files where Mulder and Scully barely survive after being put in a hallucinogenic trance by stepping on spores of a fungus and slowly sinking into an underground cavern. Okay then, over my shoulder here you can see my drawing of a small grove of quaking aspen, which I found in the Valle Vidal, a roughly 102,000 acre federally protected mountain basin in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, which is northeast of me. So now for the reading. I asked, since it had raised its hand, what Quaking aspen wanted to say about spirits of the wind. It told me, quote, "They carry messages, not just about the weather, but about changes that involve the planet. The delivery of messages works like the branches of a tree. The smaller messages will feel like they're just about the weather. They hint and tease, and you can miss that they're saying anything at all. The next size you can't miss, and you pay attention. There again, they'll feel like they're just about weather or seasonal changes, but the real message is stronger. It's about alterations in familiar patterns, and you should make note so you can prepare for what may come, not just immediately, but on a long-term basis. These messages are more like warnings, and they are regional in nature. Then, there are the planetary winds, and they are much bigger. They are driven by the heat of the sun, water temperatures, and the tilt of the planet as it goes on a very long journey around the sun, and the Earth's axis wobbles a bit. And so this journey around the sun actually takes 41,000 years. And they think that it may be the thing that accounts for ice ages and that kind of thing, but they're not sure. The planetary winds have two classes. One is physical, and controls surface temperatures and storms. You think you can predict how they will move, and you're getting better at that, but they'll still surprise you. The other class of wind is totally of spirit. These winds are so big you can't recognize them as wind. They are exclusively about change with a capital C. They are about the swirling movements that create the future. They are enigmatic, mysterious, self-aware, and prophetic, but you will not know how to fully read their messages unless you trust that what you hear them saying is really true and not your imagination. At different times in the history of the planet, these winds had foreknowledge of what was about to come, both physical, such as hits by extraplanetary bodies, and from the source of soul itself, the non-physical, which sweeps in with an energy that offers either expansion or contraction according to choices made by Earth's inhabitants. The modifying outcome dictates how we evolve." Unquote. This is what Quaking Aspen wanted to say to us. I bet it isn't what you expected, and it certainly wasn't what I expected either. That's all from me today. This is LauraJthe.Treetalker. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of the day.